Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. This is American Horror Story Hotel. This is our episode 2. I will try to get through this as quickly as I can because, again, it's a whole lot of information. The show is staying on for like an hour and a half, so I'll try to keep it as tight as I can, but I got to go through the stuff or there won't be any reason to even bother doing the review. So just bear with me and just keep listening. Okay, so we start open with that damn crazy ass Sally with her whacked out ass, always all had to fuck up. She's sitting up in there sewing up a motherfucker in the mattress. Now remember, in the first episode, we seen the motherfucker that got out of the mattress with the 2 Swedish meatballs. And now here, she's sewing the boy. Remember the boy that got screwed with the steel ding dong? Him. She got him. Remember we seen him under the bed, but we didn't know where he went to. Sally got his ass, and he didn't die. He didn't die. He was just all fucked up. And she got him all sewn up except for, a little bit of space with his head and his fingers. She had pushed his fingers down and then he said, you lied. You said the pain and everything would go away, but you lied. She said, it's your own goddamn fault trying to cheat death. She gonna kiss him on the mouth, push his fucking head down and sew his ass right the fuck on up in the mattress, okay? I said, okay, so now we know how the first child got sewed up in the mattress. Sally on some bullshit. But anyway, moving on past that. Then we see the little kids, all the little kids they got locked up in there, look like little shining kids. And they're all sitting on the couch. They're playing video games, but they all have IVs in their arms. So they're literally, and it's that damn Iris is actually got them on IVs. She's taking their blood and putting it into a container. And, whenever they're done, she tell them go get some cookies and milk and shit. So the IVs are given to the kids. Their blood is actually taken and given to Gaga, who Gaga's name, I'm going to call her Gaga, and y'all know that, but her name is the Countess. So Gaga and Donovan are drinking the kids' blood. So we're going to talk about that going forward because I got real disappointed in this episode, but we'll talk about that going forward. Just remember that she's actually taking all the people that are disappearing and carrying on. She's taking their blood. The kids are sucking the blood, and then they're using an IV to take the blood out of the kids and giving the blood to Gaga and them, and they literally are drinking it out of wine glasses and shit, except for the people that Gaga and Donovan lure into the hotel and kill. Okay, so Iris, the bald-headed drag queen, and Sally are all working together with this, getting people and making people disappear and shit. And then you also have the woman who is the laundry maiden that you always see, always cleaning blood stains off of shit. We'll talk about her later on too. We found out who she was this episode, so I'll cover that too. Now, you see all of them working together. So the bald-head drag queen, Liz Taylor is her name, but again, I kind of like call her the fucking bald-headed drag queen because she tickles me with her ridiculous outfits and her makeup, honey. So they dumping these dead bodies down what appears to be a laundry chute, but it looks real long, and you find out about that later too. Just hold on, I'm gonna tell you all about it. So we see Donovan and we see Gaga. Gaga got this badass white, it's like a gown, it's a white gown, like a silk gown with a low décolleté and just clean. Every time you see Gaga, the bitch is just clean as shit. She's telling Donovan, let's go out, this, that, and the other. Come on, hurry up, we're going to be late. He's telling her, we just already fed, this, that, and the other. And, let's just stay in and watch some TV or whatever. So I'm looking at Gaga. She done rubbed his face, and you could tell she was really not happy with the shit he was saying. And she said, we're not going out for the festivity. We're going out for the hunt, honey. It's the hunt. So anyway, she ends up going without him. Had this badass red gown on and had this silver glove on. And the gown had these pieces that hung from the short. Clean. And I'm like, I don't know how she thinks she could be inconspicuous and show up places because she'd be so goddamn clean. Of course somebody would remember seeing her. But anyway, she takes her ass on down and she's hanging out. So that goes on and we move on from that. We come back in, we got John Lowe. John Lowe's in his room, number 64. He's having a bunch of strange visions and dreams. He done seen the man with the steel ding dong. He done seen a pair of black zombie lovers in the shower. Then he also seen Holden again. And Holden's laughing and running around the hallways, and he's chasing Holden and shit. And he ends up down in the lobby talking to that fucking Sally with her crazy bullshit. And she tells him, you know, it gets worse around here around the hours of 2 and 3. Remember 2:24 in the room all the time? Shit gets out of order 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. So Sally is basically down there pumping him for information as she's talking to him. And she knows that he used to have a drinking problem. So she's literally tapping right into his addiction. Because that's what she's all about. That bitch is about an addiction. That bitch can smell an addiction a mile away. So she tells him, tell me in detail all about the last time you got all drunk the fuck up. So he ends up falling for it. He's sitting there telling Sally about the last time he was all liquored up. And the last drunk that he actually had, last stupor he went through, well, he was at a crime scene, found out, of course, you know, he could pick the hell out of a crime scene and tell you what's going on. They thought it was a murder-suicide. He goes through, it wasn't a murder-suicide. It was a father who actually, something happened and the bills was fucked up, and the mother and the children died of carbon monoxide poisoning. He found the bodies and then he committed suicide. He shot himself, so it was not a murder. So one of the cops had actually said to him at the crime scene, what kind of thing would make a man kill his family? And that's what he told him. He's like, you know, that ain't it. So he done got all in a drunken stupor. You know, because that kind of work, I guess, you know, that would come with being drunk the fuck up. And he's all drunked up. He ended up being gone from home for 2 days. You know, stone cold addiction. Stone cold. So he's telling her this. And then as soon as he came back, that's the day. He came back right before Holden got snatched. So that's how he ended up not drinking anymore because of the traumatic thing of losing the son and all of that. So Sally was steadily tempting him with liquor the whole time. And he just didn't fall for it. He's looking at the bitch. He's looking at her. She got tracks and shit all in between her fingers. She's an old, raggedy, nappy-headed, druggy bitch. But she just looks a damn mess. So he didn't fall for it. So that was that. A little after that, John Law ends up getting a package from the Cortez at work. And here he thought it was a bomb. This was real strange. This didn't have nothing to do with nothing. It was just one of them American Horror Story things they threw in there. He thought it was a bomb. The bomb squad had to come in. It was a big old mess. And in the box, it was like trophies. They were like trophies. And they had blood on them. So they're like, go run tests and find out if this blood has anything to do with any of our victims and all that. So that goes on. Go back to the Cortez. At this point, one of the policemen were actually dropping off Scarlett to visit her dad. So she's coming to the hotel. I don't know why he's having his daughter visit him at this goddamn hotel when there was actually some shit going on. And, you know, shit just ain't right at that hotel, and he already know it. He's staying there. You know, he's living there. But he having his daughter come to visit. At the same time, Will Drake, Mr. Will Drake, the one who bought the hotel, he is actually having a great big old party and a fashion show. So we see Liz Taylor, our bald-headed drag queen. That bitch is all done up this time. She all dudded and studded, baby. She got on a turban this time with some goddamn cheap-ass sequins from back in the 70s on it. And again, we looking at her like, okay, again, you know that some of them have been there forever. Some of them have been there for years and years. He rolls up. And we get introduced to Naomi Campbell at this point. Her name is Claudia. She is a good friend of Will Drake's, okay? And he said, she's looking at the people that are there. It's like, there's some colorful motherfuckers in here. Liz Taylor rolled by her and gonna say, girl, listen, honey. They said, what are you doing? He said, bitch, I'm teaching the people from Vogue how to Vogue, honey. And listen, skinny jeans are out. Fringe is in. And ponchos are forever, darling. Take a note of it. And then he marches on off. And I'm laughing because Okay, you know, again, that motherfucker, you don't know how old he really is because we don't know if he's dead or alive for real. We don't know how long he been at the hotel. But I keep laughed at that shit. I got real tickled. So, Lachlan, remember Lachlan is Mr. Will Drake's son. He's there, and he was saying how Scarlett was going to be bored at the party. And he's like, oh no, my son Lachlan is here. So he done paired Scarlett up with Lachlan. Now, I will never understand for the life of me how a police officer who has already lost one child, had a child snatched, you ain't paying no attention. Now you got this little whore running around. She done went while the fashion show's going on. This bitch done ran on off with Lachlan. He telling her, I'm going to show you some stuff. And it's a secret. Just come on with me. You got to keep the secret, though. And that bitch went right on off. She don't listen worth a fuck. Remember, she got out of the car last episode. That's how she found the two men that were in the with their guts hanging out. And you found out later on in this episode they were twins. Is what happened. They weren't lovers or anything like that. They were actually twins. That's why they had the two real beautiful beds and all that. They were rich and they lived in that house. They were actually twins. So, and there's more that goes along with that, and we're going to get there in just a minute. Okay, so in the meantime, they're saying, I hope this is not going to be a boring show. And that's somebody that was sitting next to Claudia, Naomi Campbell. And Naomi says, oh no, baby, he done brought Tristan in town. Will brought Tristan in to be in the fashion show. And you know, Tristan always has something going on. He definitely gives you a show. So maybe we'll get a show tonight. So before all this goes on, we got that motherfucking Sally. Now Sally is having a fit because they won't let her in the party. Because I told you, now she looked crazy. The bitch looked like 10 miles of a bad road. They ain't letting her in. They're saying, honey, your name ain't on the list. Get the fuck on out of here, junkie bitch. She's snapping out, showing her ass. This is my house. This is where I live. And they're like, honey, listen, you are not on the guest list. I don't give a damn what you say. You're not on the list. And then good old Naomi Campbell gonna say to her, this is an exclusive private party, darling. Now calm down and go on, you know. So they throw Sally out. Sally gets a glimpse of Scarlett, John Lowe's daughter, and then got all calm, baby, and started smoking her cigarette and was looking just as suspect. I said, gonna be a problem. So anyway, as the show's going on, Scarlett and Lachlan done left off, and they done went on down. He done took her down in the basement or wherever it is, found the 4 little psycho shining looking kids. They coffin. They're basically coffins, and they're in their sleep. And he said nothing ever wakes them up. Well, sure enough, as soon as Scarlett goes and stands by the coffin where her little brother is, she ends up standing right up over top of her damn brother and looking down in the little coffin. And she noticed right away that it was actually him. She's looking down, and she knocks on the little coffin thing, and his eyes opened up just as wide and looked straight at her. Okay? So we don't see anything more of that. They dash on off, and I guess they go on back. Now remember, she has to keep the secret. So you see her later on in her dad's room looking at some stuff. Then you see her later on looking, she at home, she's on her iPad looking at little videos and stuff of her little brother, Holden. Holden is his name. I don't know who the fuck did Holden's weave, but it's fucked up in the back. But anyway, so she's like, all right. So, you know, she got her own thing going on. Anyway, let's go back to the little fashion show. So here comes the old goddamn junkie-ass model, Tristan. Tristan is a high motherfucker, okay? You see him crushing shit, snorting shit. He done put everything in the dressing room up his nose. Butt Vicks Vapor Rub, okay? He is a good get high motherfucker. So he comes out, he modeling, he walking, he putting the scarf around other people's neck and took and kissing people, took the one girl and got to kissing her all in her mouth, and her boyfriend got up and pushed him out of the way, and he had a drink in his hand, and he takes the drink and throws the glass down the ground. I mean, he was a mess. All you supposed to be doing is modeling. You acted a motherfucking fool. Naomi Campbell is over there snickering and kikiing. Because, I mean, he's really making a spectacle. And carrying on. Gaga then came to the show. Her and Donovan is sitting there. Gaga cleaning the motherfucker. They all in white. Clean, 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 clean. And white. And white gown, white feathered hat and all this shit. They sitting on the end. This fool was cutting up. So when the boyfriend gets up and pushes him down, of the girl he was kissing in the mouth, he gets up and goes over there and go to kiss the boy in the mouth. And the boy pushes him again. He takes and smacks the man's face. He just pimp smacked the man. And man knocked him down. And then when he fell down, where he had broke his glass, when he first came out, he go to grab the glass because now he get ready to do the man. Right there, all this is going on right on the goddamn runway. Now, Will Drake is standing at the top, and he done got pissed about this. He's like, this is just ridiculous. This old good old fucking get high motherfucker cutting up, right? So, he ended up making eye contact with Gaga, and it was real crazy, like the eye contact. They had this little stare go on, and then he got up and went and going to blow a kiss at the guy, and then he went on and he finished doing what he was doing and he left. So he goes backstage. Tristan, again, putting everything up his motherfucking nose. Will Drake comes to tell him, you need to get your fucking shit together. He knocks all the drugs off the table, and he said, the show's not over. He said, the fucking show's over for me. I'm done with modeling. And he takes a goddamn pair of scissors and slashes his face. Crazy. At the same time all this is going on, Donovan asks Gaga, what was that all about? And she's like, Gaga said, he is full of rage. It's like copper. I could smell it, right? So I said, okay. All right, here we go. There's some weird shit going on. And I knew she had something to do with that. But anyway, he cuts his face, and that was it. They go on and finish up the show and all that. Later on, we actually see, oh yeah, and Gaga, her makeup, that bitch had silver tears on her face. It was everything. It was everything. That goddamn Gaga, she's really showing herself. But anyway, she ends up, they go up to they're in the penthouse. That damn Tristan that found his way up into the penthouse. He breaks into Gaga's penthouse. He's in there ransacking the place. Donovan walks in and he's saying, what are you doing? You know, in there, he's like, there's cocaine in here. I can smell it. He tearing up the place looking for cocaine, just all drugged out. And Donovan told him, listen, you need to get on up out of here and go before I have to make you go. So they end up getting into a little altercation. Donovan knocks his ass down and then starts choking him out. And then Donovan says, you know, I made a rule to stay away from junkies. But for you, I'll make an exception. And he licks his wound where he slashed his face. He licked the blood. So I'm like, all right, here we go. We got some more weird shit going on. Again. And he's choking him out, right? And Gaga comes. Now that bitch done changed clothes. This bitch got this badass black gown on now. And this is only maybe a half hour, 45 minutes after the damn show. She done changed clothes. Badass black gown on. She reaches her hand over. She tells Donovan, let him go. Let him go. He jumps up and runs his little ass on out of there. And he said he made a comment before Donovan knocked him down. I don't give a fuck. Call the police because I'm coming out and I'm going to come out and do this, that, thing, and the other. We're like, come on, what are you talking about? Anyway, didn't make no sense till later on. And I'll tell you. I'll fill you in. But anyway, so he runs and he leaves. Gaga's sitting there looking at Donovan. Donovan's looking at her. He goes down in the elevator for whatever reason. He ends up going all the way down to the bottom floor, and he gets in this whole thing. He's walking around. Then there's this new character. We don't know who the fuck this guy is, but the guy was really weird, and he looked like he was from the past, and he was going on, and he's talking to him about his drug addiction and all of that, and, you know, basically going on about how, you know, you never reach whatever that thing is that you're trying to reach. And he's telling him the way that I actually reached my high, he's telling him by killing. He said, here. So some girl comes in And she's all tied up and shit. They lay her on the bed, and he gonna say, here, take this gun. Take her out. That'll give you the high that you're looking for. So he's like, looking at him. He gonna say, you gotta do it. You gotta take the life out of her. He takes the gun off of Tristan, blows the bitch's head off, and then says, oh, yeah, now that's it right there. And then the damn woman that's always cleaning up a stain, little chambermaid or whatever the fuck she is, that bitch roll in, and he tells her, clean this up, honey. I need to clean up. And she said, oh, I'll be happy. Woo, what a glorious stain. Weird bitch, okay? So he run again. He done ran on out of there. And that man who we saw, I'm just going to tell you now, his name is actually James Patrick March. So just remember that, and I'll tell you the story of James Patrick March in a second. But that's who that is. He runs again, and he's running, trying to get from down there, because he's like, oh, these motherfuckers is crazy down there. And then he seen some rotted food and shit that was down. At first, his food looked good. Then he went and bit the sandwich, and it had maggots and shit in it. So he run on out of there. Then he gets snatched up by Gaga. We see Gaga in her black gown, and she yanks his ass. And that's it. We don't see no more about him, right? So then this is the part right here where I get a little disappointed, okay? Because last week we were watching and all this, and I told you all, they're not vampires. I don't think they're vampires, because again, they have no fangs and they're not biting anybody, that they literally kind of bask in the blood is what they were kind of doing. So I was wrong, and I was very disappointed. They actually are vampires, but they're a different type of vampire. What ended up happening is we end up seeing Tristan. Now, Tristan's skin is beautiful. And he's in the mirror really getting off on himself like, oh, I'm beautiful. Oh, yeah, I would do me, this, that, thing, and the other. And Gaga's laying over there. Gaga is a vampire. Donovan is a vampire. The kids are fucking vampires. They're all vampires. But again, like I said, they're these new age vampires. They don't have fangs. And Gaga's explaining to him about what she kept calling, what does she refer to it as? Not their poison, but their, I can't think of the word she used, but anyway, it's basically their affliction is, they're these vampires. She told them, they can go out in the sun doesn't bother them or any of that stuff, so they don't have any of that going on. She said the sun does not kill you, but it will take away your vitality. So, it's best to stay out of the sun and that kind of thing. Told him, he said, well, what about, he said, no fangs? We don't get no fangs? She's like, no, baby, we don't bite. We cut. And that whole thing, he asked her, how old was she? She said, I was born in 1904. He asked her when was her favorite time, since she's been living, and she basically told him the 70s. She said in the 70s, baby, we were all vampires, and we could just do what we wanted. Nobody paid any attention. I was the disco queen, baby. She said, and I still am. I still am the disco queen. And they were showing like flashbacks of how they literally was like at Studio 54 just fucking eating people, and the people were just laid out. People would OD in the Studio 54 all the time. They was fucked up. They done cut their fucking throats and sucked them dry. So I was very disappointed at this point that these people are vampires. I did not want them to be vampires. I wanted them to be some type of new creature that we had never heard of. Vampires, I think, was too fucking easy, especially now in episode 2. But that's okay. We cool. I'm still here I'm still here for the show. No problem. I like vampires, but I just did not want them to be vampires. I wanted to be something deeper than that. That's what I expected. But anyway, so we see little fucking Scarlet again. Now this bitch done climbed out the window at school and went on and got her ass on the bus and took her ass down to Cortez and goes back through again and finds Holden. Now she's in the little video game room, okay? She done found Holden. She's asking him, why haven't you aged? Because he told her, you look different. She said, yeah, I got older. Why didn't you? You know? And she's like all happy to see him. And the back of his weave is all fucked up as usual. She says, well, let's go. And he ain't got enough tracks or something. It's just fucked up. Anyway, so she says, well, let's go home. He's like, I ain't going home, girl. I am at home. I really like it here. And he told her, you can come back and see me anytime you want. So she says, well, can I take a picture? Can we take a selfie? And when she sat down next to him, he kind of like sniffed her neck, was going to try to bite her, child. She ran on up out of there. She took the selfie and she ran on up out of there. Now, in the midst of that, she runs out and she runs into that goddamn Sally with her raggedy ass. Sally gonna scare her. Sally gonna grin and have all these teeth, and then the teeth start breaking and carrying on. She's spitting out teeth, just being mean. And Rebecca screamed and ran. That fucking Sally gonna say, oh yeah, kids are the best. She a mean old bitch. Just want to scare her just to be doing it. So she ran on, she went home. By the time she get home, they got like a fucking dragnet out looking for this little girl. It's nighttime at this point. And she's so fucked up and startled. She just like walking in a daze. She get home, walk on in the house. They fussing at her about, you know, leaving out. She tells the parents that she done seen Holden at the hotel, this, that, thing, and the other. Of course, they didn't believe her. Her dad yelled at her and everything like that. She runs off. He looks in her phone. I thought that Holden wouldn't show up like, you know, old vampires. But no, his face was blurred in the picture. But John Lowe knew, because that's how he sees Holden. When he has those visions, he gets a clear picture and then it blurs of him. So he knew there's some shit going down. So, he leaves the house and he's headed on back to the hotel because he want to know what the fuck is going on. Okay, so in the meantime, in between time, we got Donovan and Tristan. Donovan walks in on Tristan because now, you know, naturally, you know, him and old Gaga had a little sex session, and he walks in on them. And Donovan's like, I cannot believe you fucking turned him. He's not going to last a day. This, that, thing, and the other. Tristan's over there, you know, giving bravado and all this. She asked Tristan to step out of the room. She basically canceled Donovan's ass. She canceled him. She was like, you know what? Whatever. Oh, that was the other thing Gaga told him. You don't fall in love. You save that for me. He's like, all right. So she goes ahead and she canceled Donovan. I knew that was going to happen, though, because, again, he was being too humane and didn't want to feed when he didn't have to feed, shit like that. And that bitch is vicious. And so I knew that was going to happen. When she left and went out without him, I said, there's going to be some shit. But anyway, so that's it. She cancels Donovan. And I said, I don't know what's going to happen with Iris, because remember, Iris is his mother. And she, as far as we know, Iris is still not an undead person. She's a regular living person, because she didn't even let him see her, see Donovan. She's like there just because of Donovan. So I don't know what's going to go on with that, but we'll see in the future. Anyway, Tristan got his ass. He's online, doing online dating app and all that. And he actually has some little guy come in there. And him and the little guy go on upstairs, baby. They get ready to get on down. And the next thing you know, the guy's going to give him a little something. Gaga come on in. And she's like, oh, yeah, this, that, and the other. So the little guy, little gay guy, he's like, wait a minute. He said, you know what? Everything was cool, but I don't know about this fish you done brought up in there. I ain't down with all that. Child, that goddamn Tristan is treacherous. He plugged him right in the neck, baby, and blood went everywhere. And him and Gaga went on the fed on the little guy and all that, and had sex and did, you know how they do, and all that. Then he says to Gaga, now remember when he said something about coming out and all that before he died? He says to Gaga, just because I'm sucking on a dude doesn't make me gay. Now, you know, I done sat at home about fell off the couch laughing. I said, damn, even the undead is full of shit and confused. Just confused. Ain't trying to admit to nothing. You gay than a motherfucker because you got on there and you went on a gay goddamn dating app and got somebody to come. You didn't get no cunt to come. You got a man to come because you're a fag, and that's that. Even the goddamn undead folks lying about being gay. Child, get on out of here. Anyway, moving on. Okay, so let me explain to you all, because John Lowe comes back to the hotel. He's jumping on Iris. He put Iris in handcuffs and told her, I'm not going nowhere. You going to tell me what the fuck is going on here. Because now he's pissed off because he knows Donovan's there. He's like, I'm going to take y'all down on kidnapping charges and this, that, and the other. And on. You going to tell me where everybody's at, this, that, and the other. So Iris tells him, honey, listen, I ain't had a man handle me like this in years. She said, it's real cute and everything like that, but if you want me to tell you something, you're going to have to take me out of these handcuffs. Give a girl a drink, honey, and I'll tell you anything you want to know. So he lets her out of the handcuffs because she's an old bitch. What's she going to do? What's she going to try to run? And she gets to telling him the story. So she starts telling him about James Patrick Marsh. Well, what it is, James Patrick Marsh built the Cortez. He is the original builder of the Cortez. He was a very, very talented architect. And it was Los Angeles. It was back in 1925. Okay. Now the Cortez, it's not really a hotel so much. It is a well-built alibi is what Iris called it. It has secret chutes. It has exitless hallways. It has asbestos in the walls so that you can't hear screaming when the torture or anything goes on. It was built for a specific reason, built a specific type of way, and it was all designed by this James Patrick Marsh. James Patrick Marsh was actually a serial killer, is basically what he was. You see him, he was as crazy as Dick's fucking Hat Man. He took solace in, killing people and torturing them. He had some woman laid out on the bed. Her legs were strapped apart. He's steadily screwing her and taking 2 knives and literally just going back and forth, just slicing her up while he's screwing her. He was a crazy son of a bitch. And anyway, he was married. And the wife knew of different things that was actually going on. And then we have the chambermaid or the laundress who we see all the time cleaning up the stains. Her name is Miss Evers. That bitch is not with the living in either. She was his chambermaid or whatever back then. She knew about all the murders. She cleaned up all the stains. She loved cleaning the stains. She just took solace in it. She loved cleaning. And she said there wasn't one thing that she couldn't clean. And said there was something that she put into all her laundering. And he said, what was that? And that was love. She loved laundering up the mess that he made. And I believe she actually loved him. But anyway, he had a wife. Wife was a sickie too. I mean, that motherfucker was literally putting people in walls. And there's bodies there all over the place. And that's what they were saying, that literally sometimes it got up to where he was killing 2 and 3 people a week. And people would just come to the hotel and literally just disappear. But again, it's a hotel. Yeah, you don't know what the fuck goes on. And what it turns out is room 64 was actually James Patrick Marsh's office. That's why you always see so much bad shit. Everything dark is that office. Everything about him was that room. So the darkness of his soul was actually in that room. Okay, so anyway. And that's what we seen him. That's who we saw earlier on. Now, one of the victims that he had, and he would kill all kind of people. Service people come in, have them, like you call in and have a plumbing job done, fuck them, kill them. But he had these 2 men, and he took this hammer and cracked this man in the back of his head and then sent him on down the chute. And that's why I said the chutes look so long. The chute was like 6 floors deep. 6 floors deep. And that's what you was actually seeing. In the very beginning of the program, you seen people throwing down the chute when Iris and all of them were working, throwing them down there and then throw some little perfume down the motherfucking chute too. But anyway, he had the 2 men standing by the chute. He popped that one man in his head, sent him down the chute, got the other one. The other man is praying his ass off, okay? And he says to him, do you think that that's going to actually help you? Do you really believe in all that? You think that that's going to help you? And the man told him, he said, listen, as long as there is God, men like you can kill thousands or millions of people, but you will never find peace. And that motherfucking James Patrick Marsh told him, well, I guess I'll just have to kill God now, won't I? And he smacked that motherfucker with that goddamn hammer, and down the chute, his ass had business too. Now, he went even crazier after that. He told Ms. Evers, clean that shit up, and I want all the fucking Bibles removed out of here. All the crosses and all the Bibles removed out of this hotel. He then became very sloppy because he started doing other shit. He was really losing his mind at that point. And he really thought he was running around trying to kill God and do all this stuff. He literally started killing outside of the hotel. But so fucking crazy, he would massacre on Sundays. Like he did a massacre. All of these people, they were out like on a work field. It was a Sunday. Killed them. Sloppy. And then put his initials in them. So he ended up eventually getting caught. Now keep with me because I'm getting ready to wrap all of this together. He get them together. So of course, you know, John Lowe is kind of listening to Iris and believing some of what she's saying, but not really, because, you know, it was so far-fetched. That ain't the shit that he was trying to look for. But anyway, so she continues on with the story. The authorities actually had come to the hotel. He was down there in the midst of fucking somebody up. And Miss Evers comes down and she tells him, we got really bad news. The authorities are here. They have showed up, and I think we got a problem. So he tells her, all right. So he's like, no problem. He says, tell me, he says, it's a shame things had to come to an end like this, Iris, and I thank you for your service and all that shit like that. And he's going, you know, crazy as a motherfucker. And he tells her he has a knife in one hand, like a long sword-like knife in one hand and a gun in the other. And he tells her, what's your choice to go out, Iris? So she going back and forth. She going to say, oh my goodness, well, I guess I'll take the gun. So he gives her the gun. And she's like, we don't have very much time because the authorities banging on the door. She says, and this is he's in room 64, I believe is where he was at the time. So he says, that fool takes the damn gun and gives it back to him and says, you know what? Why don't you take the liberties and do this for me and let it be your last hurrah? So she's standing there, he get the gun up, cock it up to her, and she wenching, you know, because that bitch, I don't think she wasn't really trying to die for real. He blew her motherfucking head off. Blew her goddamn head off without even hesitating. Fucked her right on up. And then took the damn sword and slit his own throat and fell on over there and he died and they bust through the door and that was it. So that's it for James Patrick Marsh. So he really was evil. He was a vicious serial killer, okay? So after that, we go on. Now, James Lowe done took all that information. He done got together, and you know he could piece together a crime scene like a motherfucker. He's going back and forth. He done found all the information about James Patrick Marsh, and he's putting it together with the serial killer that's actually running around now, and he's saying, I think that this new serial killer has been, because remember, the serial killer is the one that led him to the Cortez. He says, I think that the serial killer is actually trying to call himself picking up where James Patrick Marsh left off before his death, because the pattern that James Patrick Marsh was doing when he was doing the murders outside, the things that actually got him caught, that put the authorities onto him, was he was recreating the 10 Commandments. Thou shalt not take. And he said, slice somebody's hands off. And there was another one about working, it was like illegal aliens that was working on an off day, and it was, you're not supposed to work on the day of the Sabbath, which is Sunday, and he killed them all on that Sunday. He was literally recreating the 10 Commandments by the time they caught him, and then he started going into the murders that the serial killer that be stalking him was actually doing, and they're running together like whoever that was is picking up where he left off. Now, that's basically it. That's all we found out from this episode, and I've still been talking a whole long time. But again, I had to get it all in there. Now, I'm going to leave y'all with this. I could be wrong, because I was wrong about the vampire thing, and I'm still pissed about that. But I think that Mr. Will Drake is a serial killer. I really do. And I'm just going to throw that out there now. You know we ain't going to find out until probably way toward the end of the season. I think that goddamn Will Drake is that serial killer or has something to do with that serial killing shit. Because he was all linked up to the hotel and we don't know why he bought it. We don't know what was the interest in. Listen, I believe it's some bullshit. But anyway, I'm still here for it. I'm mad about the vampire thing still. But the serial killer shit, that shit's really off the hook. But anyway, that's it, y'all. So that's episode 2. Thumbs up, thumbs down. You know what to do. I'll see y'all's ass next Wednesday. All right, guys. Bye for now.